Welcome to English Avenue YouTube, the channel to learn English the easy way. Let's start. In a serene village nestled within rolling hills and dense, verdant forests, there lived a man named Nathaniel. His home was a modest cottage on the outskirts of town, a cozy sanctuary surrounded by wildflowers and towering trees. Nathaniel spent his days tending to his flourishing garden, where the scent of fresh herbs and blooming roses filled the air. When he wasn't working with the soil, he could be found lost in the pages of old time-worn books, their yellowed pages transporting him to distant lands and forgotten times. He often wandered for hours along meandering forest trails, listening to the soft rustling of leaves and the occasional chirping of birds hidden among the branches. Despite the idyllic beauty of his surroundings, Nathaniel carried an unshakable weight of solitude. There was an emptiness in his heart that even the golden glow of sunset over the hills could not fill. Ever since the loss of the person he held most dear, he had retreated into himself, choosing seclusion over company. His only companions were his thoughts and the whisper of the wind weaving through the trees. While he had once found solace in the quiet, it had begun to feel more like an echo of loneliness, a vast silence that stretched through his days and nights without end. One crisp morning, as Nathaniel strolled through the woodland that bordered the village, he was drawn to a faint, frantic fluttering mixed with a soft, distressed chirp. Pausing for a moment, he turned his head, trying to locate the source of the fragile sound. He moved cautiously through the underbrush until he spotted a small bird struggling within the twisted embrace of thorny branches. Its feathers were tangled, and its delicate wings sagged at an unnatural angle, a sign of injury. The tiny creature trembled, caught between panic and exhaustion. Moved by an instinctive sense of compassion, Nathaniel carefully reached out, his fingers expertly navigating through the sharp thorns to free the fragile bird. As he cupped it in his hands, he felt the rapid thumping of its tiny heart, a rhythm of fear, yet also a flicker of trust. Its dark eyes, though filled with uncertainty, carried a silent plea for help. Without hesitation, he held it close to his chest, shielding it from the cold morning breeze, and began his journey back to his cottage. Upon arriving home, he wasted no time in creating a sanctuary for his newfound companion. Gathering twigs, soft leaves, and strips of cloth, he fashioned a small nest, placing it near the window where golden sunlight streamed in, offering warmth and comfort. He fetched a shallow dish of water and small crumbs of softened bread, ensuring the bird had nourishment. As he sat beside it, he whispered soothing words, reassuring the tiny creature that it was safe. He knew that healing would take time, but he was willing to be patient. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, Nathaniel felt a quiet sense of purpose stir within him. Perhaps, in mending the wounds of this delicate bird, he was also beginning to mend the wounds of his own heart. As the days passed, Nathaniel devoted himself to the care of the bird, which he affectionately named Oliver. He ensured it was well fed and protected, watching closely as it slowly regained its strength. The once fragile creature, whose wings had been too weak to move, now fluttered with newfound energy. Each day, Oliver grew stronger, and before long, it was no longer confined to its nest. It began to explore the cottage, hopping along the wooden beams and playfully perching on Nathaniel's shoulder as he read. At night, it would nestle near the warmth of the fireplace, its beady eyes following the flickering flames with fascination. Over time, The presence of Oliver transformed Nathaniel's life in ways he had never imagined. No longer did his days feel empty, or his home unbearably silent. The bird had brought a spark of joy back into his world, a sense of warmth that he had forgotten was possible. Their bond became unbreakable, and for the first time in years, Nathaniel no longer felt alone. As their connection deepened, Nathaniel and Oliver began to venture beyond the quiet sanctuary of the cottage. They roamed the lush meadows surrounding the village, wandering through fields bursting with vibrant wildflowers, swaying in the gentle breeze. Nathaniel would recount tales from his youth, speaking softly as though Oliver could understand every word. The bird, perched attentively on his shoulder or flitting nearby, seemed to listen intently, responding with the occasional chirp, as if offering its own commentary on his stories. As the seasons passed, their world expanded further. They encountered a wise old owl who resided in the towering branches of an ancient oak tree, sharing stories of long-forgotten times and the wisdom of the forest. A playful squirrel, quick and mischievous, became another companion, darting through the trees, gathering acorns, and occasionally offering its small treasures to Nathaniel and Oliver. Deeper into the woods, they met a gentle deer grazing in a sun-dappled clearing, its serene eyes reflecting the peace of the natural world. Each new encounter strengthened Nathaniel's bond with his surroundings, dissolving the lingering shadows of loneliness and replacing them with a sense of belonging. With the passing years, Nathaniel and Oliver aged side by side, their friendship growing ever stronger. They had shared countless adventures, witnessed the changing of the seasons, and embraced the quiet joys that life had to offer. Though Nathaniel's cottage remained simple, his heart was full, for he had discovered that true companionship could appear in the most unexpected of ways. As they sat together one evening, watching the golden hues of the sunset fade into twilight, Nathaniel smiled and whispered, "Thank you for being my friend, Oliver. You have filled my life with more joy than I ever thought possible." Oliver responded with a soft, affectionate chirp, his bright eyes gleaming in the fading light. In that moment, surrounded by the beauty of the land and the warmth of enduring friendship, Nathaniel knew he had finally found his home, not in the walls of his cottage, but in the unwavering companionship of the little bird that had once fallen from the sky into his hands.